Hello and welcome, my Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your Twin Flame contract reading for January 2020, though timeless. Whenever you're supposed to see it is when you are supposed to see it. I am your reader. Mark Angela Lyons Mal, for short, president of Drawing the Circle Productions. Professional witch, professional intuitive, and twin flame contract survivor. Who else could be better to help you look at a twin flame contract? If you are new to my channel, please, they just told me to say that, the twin flame survivor. It's very funny, guys. If you are new to my channel, please do like and subscribe. I'm making my way to 1,000 subscribers so that I can monetize, so that I can do super live chat, and as a promise, a incentive to my prospective subscribers and subscribers alike, I promise to do a little ditty called Junk Tarot once a month for the first couple of months. See how that goes. Video in the description box. You'll see the link, clarifying Junk Tarot. Go check it out. It's my favorite vid of 2019. You'll see why if you watch it, and then you will want to like and subscribe everything I do to get me there, because I'm the fun one. All the readers, there are other foul-mouthed ones, there are other witches, there are other highly talented and skilled professionals reading on YouTube, but I'm the fun one. Dionysus archetype. So let's get down to business, shall we? The business of this twin flaminess. Please do keep in mind that this is a general read, right? Not everything's going to fit every contract every single time. Please take what resonates, and if it doesn't resonate at all, it's just not your reading this time. That's why I do Path of True Love and, you know, the soulmate contract reads, which are totally different than twin flames. We'll get to that in a minute. So that, you know, I'm actually going to be bringing on other readers that I've worked with probably this year. As they're going to send me content, I'm going to edit it and put it up. Yeah, so there'll always be new content on this circle, particularly once I monetize, because this is what I'm doing now. I started reading tarot, and I'm 12 years old. I'm going to be 52 this year. I've been reading cards for 40 years, so this is a little new, but I'm having a field day with it, and I hope you are too. So check your other signs. That's why I do Sun, Moon, Rising, and of course Venus signs for anything relationship-oriented. Cool, cool. But now let's talk about what this reading actually is. It's time to spill the tea while sipping the coffee. Wonder coffee. Themyscira blend. My Aries darlings, twin flames are soul contracts, like soulmates but different. Soulmates are really the one everybody wants, but somewhere along the line the language got conflated with twin flame. It's not the same thing. The foundation for a twin flame contract is you help each other learn how to heal yourselves. You don't help each other heal. You teach each other how to love yourselves by not giving each other the love that you want. We are all love at our core. This is a soul contract. You agree to play it out in this way, so that you will learn through the relationship how to love yourself, how to heal yourself, how to set boundaries, self-esteem, self-approval, self-acceptance, right? All the self stuff. Nothing like a twin flame to do it, because twin flames, element of fire, are transformative. Oh, they burn, they're passionate. They're not all sexual romantic either. Like, can we please do away with the myth that you have one soulmate? Or, for that matter, one twin flame? I've had more twin flames in my romantic sex life and this life than soulmates. Easy. Like, maybe I've had one or two soulmates romantically, but the majority of them have been twin flames, all teaching me how to love myself. And what else do you expect growing up in this world, in this age, right? It's like none of us were taught self-respect, self-esteem, boundaries. We had to learn that the hard way. And if you've been working on the self-help, healing, spiritual path, you get what I'm talking about, right? So to be able to master your twin flame contracts in this life are the ones that are preparing you for the soulmate where you help each other heal. So you need both. It's not like we're just going to do away. And by the way, you can be married to a twin flame contract. It's just you're never going to really get what you want. But if you can use it to learn, right? To learn how to love yourself, to heal yourself. And that's what these readings are for, to look at what is the most, I don't want to say dominant twin flame relationship contract dealio in your life, because we have many of them. What is the most dominant one? But the one most important for your soul to address, to look at, to work through. And all you have to do to complete a twin flame contract is survive it, even if that's day by day by day. You can have a twin flame contract with your own kid, with your own parent, with your own whatever, right? You're learning how to heal. They're never going to change. They're never going to give you what you really want because they're not supposed to. And it sucks. But that's how it is. But that's okay. That's why we have the soulmates. Totally different contract. You with me? Good. We got that out of the way. In order to differentiate two different parties in a contract, my mother divorced my father and married her divorce lawyer when I was 2 years old. I was raised with litigious language. Deal. All right? We're going to be looking at divine feminine, divine masculine, just as a way to separate the two different people in a contract. But I think you'll get a kick out of the way that they're doing it this time. Every time I do a new series, I sit down with my pantheons and they say, okay, this time we're doing this, 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 and this. So we've got 7 decks we're dealing with this time, but some of them are only pulling 1 card each. So, ready? Breathe, most important thing. Oh yeah, divine masculine, divine feminine thing, just so that nobody cancels and drags me through the street. It has nothing to do with bodily gender. I consider myself a divine feminine, yet put me in a relationship with a certain guy, and I'm butch top daddy, go figure, with no gag reflex, which makes no sense. But whatever, hey, life is life, right? So take a nice deep breath. Please remember to breathe. It keeps us both in the present moment. Conscious breathing isn't just part of my spiritual practice anymore. It's really trying to be consistent, to be aware, partnering with my breath, being with my breath all the time, as often as I can, right? And if you're doing the same, you're tuning to the same present moment that I am, even though we're not in the same time and place. The still point is that point of silence where the divine lives, right? Always in the present moment. It doesn't go anywhere. We have to tune to it, right? So if we're doing that simultaneously, even though, again, separated by time and space, you're tuning to the same source that I'm pulling the information from, that you're soaking in. It's your contract. I only have 1 planet in Aries, and it's Saturn, and that's not part of the collective read. So shall we? Nice deep breath. Still point. My collective pantheons of angels, gods, goddesses, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. 2 cards, please. 1 for the divine feminine and 1 for the divine masculine in this Aries collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract for January, February 2020. We'd say February-ish 2020, though timeless whenever they're supposed to see it. So please, 1 for the divine feminine. Who is she? Archetypally speaking, doesn't even have to be female. Who is he? Oh, who just flipped? Someone just flipped. Yes, we had a flipper. I didn't see who it was, though. But that just flipped right in the center of the deck. Let's look at our happy couple. Deep breath. Or our unhappy couple, depending. Okay, oh, fuck. You want to talk about a real power couple, even though twin flame? Divine feminine slave, divine masculine liberator. Holy crap. Holy crap. This is, I've never seen this combo in a spread before, even with a client, where you've got the slave and the liberator. Because what does the slave need? A liberator. And what does the liberator need? A slave to liberate. All archetypes are neutral. There's shadow and light, lead and gold in all of them. I'm going to read these, what's written on the cards, because Caroline Mace archetype cards, right? All the decks I read are in the description box below. I always have to remember to say that so people can go check them out. I'm not getting kickbacks on those yet. I'll figure out how to monetize that with Amazon eventually. Just if anybody knows how to do it, drop me an instant, private, whatever email. Help me figure that shit out. But in particular, then once I get what's written on the cards out, I can tune to these, because the energy between these two of them, they're like sparks, which sounds good, but in a twin flame context, sparks lead to flames lead to all sorts of shit. So let me read the divine feminine slave archetype. Shadow attribute, giving up your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. Now, by the way, everybody gets that. Everybody's afraid of making like big choices and decisions. But what I'm feeling here is perhaps she's feeling a little bit trapped in this twin flamer. This feels like they kind of already know each other. And again, this does not necessarily have to be romantic sexual. Like, I could feel this energy, someone feeling a slave to a corporation that they work in. Like, they just don't even want to make decisions because it's all just too much, right? Giving up your willpower to an external authority. That authority could very well be employment-based, right? Career-based thing. Not necessarily to this liberator, but we'll see. The light attribute. What the contract is for is to help each individual get to the light attribute, the gold attribute, all right? On their own, but the contract itself is set up that you're going to learn how to do this via, I should say, this relationship, this contract. Surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust, which I know seems a little impotent. I don't like using that word, but I will. Impotent, in the sense of, all right, I surrender to the divine and I'll just sit here on the couch and see what happens. It doesn't work that way. It really is saying, all right, with complete trust and perfect love and perfect trust, bide the Wiccan law you must, in perfect love and perfect trust. Perfect love and perfect trust to who? The divine. Everybody else has bad days. God, Goddess, Zeus, Buddha, Jesus, whoever, I surrender this to you. I have no idea what to do. I surrender my willpower, my choices, my decisions to you in perfect love and perfect trust, but make them through me. Right? Show me what are the wise, powerful, loving decisions that you want me to make, and I will make them. And nothing like a twin flame. Like, particularly if you're being abused. Now, we're going to look at the shadow side of this liberator next, because the shadow side of any archetype is just horrid, right? It doesn't matter how pretty the name of the archetype sounds or how bright the light. The shadow is just always as toxic, and vice versa, right? As horrible as the shadow might sound, or the name of the archetype, like the vampire archetype, sounds just like a fucking nightmare, because it is. The light side of it is just as bright. If you are being abused, if you are being neglected, and I'm talking like physically abused, physically neglected, emotionally abused, emotionally neglected, people don't know how to deal with their emotions, but like if you are really being treated in an extremely toxic situation, get help and get out. Like, I don't care what the soul contract is. If it's time to pick up your bed and walk, you make that prayer and you say, divine, you show me an open door that you want me to walk through, and I will do my best to walk through it. That's just how that is. By the way, did I mention I just survived a twin flame contract, a 20-year twin flame contract. Let's look at this divine masculine liberator here. The shadow attribute. See, this is one where if this slave feels imprisoned by an external authority, this might be it. Divine masculine liberator shadow attribute, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate. Ignoring legitimate constraints. And that's the thing. That's where abuse can come in. If there's a legitimate constraint, like in this last twin flame, I said to this guy, it's like, look, I've been lied to and deceived so many times. Just don't fucking lie to me. I'm a spiritual counselor. There's nothing you can say to me that I've probably not heard before, and I get to hear the supernatural shit on a regular basis. So it's fine. Just tell me the truth. And he kind of did worse than lie. He omitted the truth. Like, he just didn't tell me what was going on, so he didn't lie. It's like, oh, va fungul, right? So legitimate constraints, ignoring that stuff, can really make somebody feel like a slave because you don't know what's going on, right? So the liberator, the divine masculine here, and its light attribute, what he's, again, we're not talking about bodily gender, learning here, the light attribute, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns, right? So the idea, and just using the example of even needing to lie, because when you lie to somebody, it's essentially you don't trust that they're going to rise to the occasion, or that they're not smart enough, or that they're not stable enough to handle the truth. Where, yeah, it's the point of anyone to balance, to speak truth with a loving heart. That's called honesty, or as His Holiness the Dalai Lama said, and it's the one Dalai Lama quote that's tattooed on my third eye apparently, truth without compassion is brutality, right? So there's a way of speaking the truth, because we are talking about, in the light side, about freeing oneself from outmoded or perhaps false beliefs. That takes truth. So there's an element of truth-telling going on here. And look, Aries, I'm dating an Aries right now. He's probably going to watch this. I don't know if he's twin flame or soulmate. We just started dating a couple weeks ago. I forget what his moon sign is. I don't know if he knows. But that being said, seems very, very much like a truthful guy. But Aries are not known necessarily for their tact, T-A-C-T. If you're not familiar with the word, look it up. As tactful as I'm going to get on that. Guess what? We are moving on to the Chuck Spezzano Love Pack. The Ascended Masters. We're going to hit the Ascended Masters again with the last card as we've been doing. Different deck entirely. But this time we're using both halves of the deck. We've got on one side the problem suit, which is good to know. Like, what's the problem? Like, what is the lead, the overall lead going on in this twin flame contract for January, February 2020 timeless? It's probably a good way to say that. And then we'll use the other half for the piece of luck, the piece of healing, or the piece of grace to help heal that. Now, this is for whoever you are in this contract. Take this in. Oh, this is what the problem is right now. Right? The situation, the fuel in the furnace, as it were, being transformed in the twin flame. And then this card will be, this is what I have, the luck, the healing, the grace to heal what I have to heal, to learn what I have to learn, to love what I have to love within myself, to love within myself. Cool, cool. Take a nice deep breath, my Aries. We're going to start with the problem suit. Still point. My Ascended Masters of Twin Flame Contracts, please. One card in clarity for this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Twin Flame Contract for January, February 2020, please. What's the lead here? What's the problem? Put that face down. And while we're here, please, same contract. Divine Feminine Slave, Divine Masculine Liberator. Seems like a natural, but what's the grace, the healing, or the luck available in this contract? What's the problem? Defensiveness. Not shocking for an Aries energy, right? God of War, right? Not just about attack, but about defend. And defensiveness can be not just your dukes are up, but you're protecting yourself from things that have happened in the past so that they do not happen in the future. Now, something to take away from that, someone can feel very much a slave to their own defenses. Well, I would love to put my defenses down, but I can't. I can't. I'm a slave to them and to the rhythm while we're at it. And the Liberator, that might very much be the thing that they need to snap themselves out of, releasing themselves from outmoded, outdated defense mechanisms, let's just say. Now, what's the piece of luck? Healing. Or, if a very, very interesting card, it's the luck. It's the suit of luck, openness, which what is the opposite of defense if not openness? Okay, you could say vulnerability. But vulnerability takes openness, and there isn't a vulnerability card in this particular deck. So there you go. So the problem is the defensiveness in the relationship itself. One defensive of the other. One could feel the slave being defensive against the liberator for sure. Your dukes are up. There are cannons and rifles involved in that card. And here's this openness. Someone, I mean, my God, there are just hearts all over this thing. Obviously open-hearted. So a piece of luck. How is that luck? Because if you can tune to that, if you can extrapolate from this, that's the piece of luck that will carry you through this. Open your heart. Open your heart to yourself. Allow whatever emotion is coming up, whether it's the terror of the slave or the frustration of the liberator or what have you, to be open to that experience, to love what rises, and then to kind of loosen up a little bit and trust that whatever it is that you're defending against is probably the best thing. And that's the hardest part of, if we're really talking about surrendering our will to the divine, is getting that the divine plan, everything that's happening to us, even in the sense of quantum physics, we are getting the highest probable realities for the development of our soul on our journey. We don't have to like it, we don't have to agree with it, but we can accept it. We go, somehow, I have to surrender to this and open up. because this has not come to destroy me. This has come to transform me, this twin flame contract. Not necessarily give me what I want, give me what I need. Like a sip of coffee. All right, we are off to the races with this fucker. Let's ask the angels with the Doreen Virtue Healing with the Angels Oracle. What are the healing angels that each of them have individually? So whether you identify as the divine feminine or the divine masculine, you'll know what angels are going on and have a little bit of insight into what angelic powers, if you will, what the angels are helping them heal with, right? Because everybody's on a healing journey. The ones who are suffering the most are not the only ones healing in the twin flame contract. Let's just say that it's just who's dealing with the pain, who's willing to heal, because everybody's got pain, and a lot of that pain is in the collective unconscious. So as we clear it from our own cell tissues, our own energy fields, we're helping to clear it for all of life. So everybody's got pain. We're all one. That's either the truth or it's not for you. And a twin flame contract, you could see on a soul level, incarnating to play this relationship out so that you would heal and help you fulfill your role in the healing of all of life. Snarky as that could be. Nice deep breath. Oh, thank you so much for this twin flame helping me heal everything. Good luck. Just breathe. Still point. My angels, please, 2 cards, one for the divine feminine, one for the divine masculine, in this Aries collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract for January, February, timeless. 2020, please, what is the angelic power? The healing with the angel. Healing with the angels oracle for the divine feminine slave, and one for the divine masculine liberator, please. Let's have a look. Who are the angels we're dealing with? The angel of balance, interesting, for, I'm feeling that, okay, I got what that one means. Oh, and new love for the divine masculine. Now, I know the new love card, we want to jump into romance, but we're going to put that on pause. Stick a pin in that for a second, because it's got other stuff on it than that. I can feel it, because I think this one is really essential, and this is the order I do them in anyway. Always ladies first. The divine feminine with the slave archetype with balance. Balancing, right? I've been feeling out of balance. I surrender my will, my throat chakra, my words, my choices, my conduct. I'm out of balance. I surrender it all to the divine, that I may make more balanced, wise, happy, healthy, loving, wealthy choices for myself. Don't know how to do that. And then finding the balance of, there is a choice and there is a decision. Well, okay, this choice, whether or not I have coffee or tea, I can make that choice in balance with then the surrendering of, I have no idea what to do with my life, right? So finding the balance of, not that everything shouldn't be, you can surrender everything to the divine all in one day and say, bring me into balance. I have no idea how. I just feel out of balance. I will do my best, play my role. But then what are the choices and the decisions that I can make that are within me that the divine is asking me to make? Like, for instance, go take a shower. Right? Go do this. Finding the balance so it's not just sitting on the couch, right? That's a really, really old paradigm way of dealing with surrendering your will to the divine, where you do nothing and you stagnate, and that's not the point of incarnation. You weren't chosen as a soul even to play with the slave archetype in your alchemical field by just sitting on the couch. In fact, it is the slave that through surrender to the divine has the possibility to become master. And we're looking at by the way, slave archetype is a wild card family. It's a pretty heavy duty archetype to have. Jesus, Moses, Mohammed, so many, Buddha, had the slave archetype because they had to surrender whatever the fuck was going on in their lives, because God done called them, right? Like, okay, gotta go. Run as they might, they always had to surrender at the end. Then looking at this liberator here with this new love card, I gotta tell you, yeah, it's like maybe there is a new love in this situation, and maybe he is romantically, again, him, not talking about bodily gender, Y chromosomes, but that's not what I'm getting here. What I'm getting is this liberator might very well be finding a new love of self, right? In that defensiveness, in that openness of heart, that both of them can be like, let's bring a different kind of love to this, particularly in a twin flame contract where we can't give each other the kind of love we want. We can perhaps give unconditional love, right? We can, like, I can pray for you, I can bless you, I can understand you are on your own journey. And this is usually what happens in one form or another, in one language or another, spiritually speaking, in families, right? My father was definitely a twin flame contract. There's no question. We had a twin flame contract. He wanted a heterosexual Republican Catholic. He got a gay, which liberal. It just wasn't going to happen. He died the summer in between high school and college for me, so he never really got to see the adult that I would become. He only got to see the rebellious teenager. But because of him, I went into therapy. My father was nuts. Everybody thinks their father was nuts. Mine, definitely. I mean, there was stuff going on there I'm not at liberty to say for the sake of other members of my family. Virgo, legs crossed. But you sort of get that. It's like I took the healing path because of my father, because he was so abusive. So that being said, and he was a Gemini, so nobody knew about it outside of the house. So there you go, there you have it. Had to be covert about my own healing, right? So to bring new love, that the angels of new love are there, new love of self, new love for each other, but perhaps in a different spiritual context, allowing each other from each other's point of view to love you just because you're another being on planet Earth, my brother, my sister of the divine. I'm open to that. That's what I'm feeling from that card. Yes, could there be a third party? But, you know, it's twin flame. Why wouldn't there be a third party if it's romantic sexual? Not saying this is, but that's why we got other cards to go through. And what are we going to do for you? We're going to take 3 cards from the Daughters of the Moon Tarot for the Divine Feminine and 3 cards from the Mythic Tarot for the Divine Masculine. Basic timeline, past, present, future. You want as broad a timeline as you can so that you can see, like GPS, where you are on the journey of this. So we're going to ask the voices of the goddesses, the Divine Feminine, half of the energy of the universe, for the Divine Feminine, and then the same for the God energy, the voice of the gods, the Divine Masculine, for the Divine Masculine. Cool, cool. Gonna need your help on this one. Nice deep breath. Better to start with an exhale on this one. Still point. My goddesses, there you are, please. 3 cards, past, present, future, general timeline for this Divine Feminine slave archetype in this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising Venus sign, soulmate contract, January, February 2020 timeless, please. 1 card, where has she been in this true love contract? Ooh, I felt that one. Where is she now in this true love contract? Ooh, where is she headed on this true love contract? Get that? That's past, present, future. Where you been? Where are you now? Where you headed? They're still face down. I'm just gonna do the Divine Masculine, so this way they are done, and then I can read them horizontally from left to right. Nice deep breath, please. Still point. My gods, please. 3 cards, simple timeline, past, present, future for this Divine Masculine Liberator in this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising Venus sign twin flame contract for January, February 2020 timeless, please. Where has he been in this twin? Aw, where has he been on this twin flame contract? Oh, I don't know what that aw is, but something went aw. We'll have to see when that card hopefully I'll remember to aw. Where is he now in this twin flame contract? Where is he headed in this twin flame contract? Yeah, I hope I remember that there was an awe. Remember there was an awe. We're going to start with the Divine Feminine. Where has she been? Now, keep in mind, she's got the slave archetype with balance, right? So trying to balance out that divine will thing. It's like, well, do I have to ask the divine whether or not I should have pasta tonight? Maybe. Let's see. Where's she been? All right. Three of Blades, focus. Now, I love this. I swear I love Daughters of the Moon. I love this deck so much, right? It's Three of Swords. Look, no hearts being cut into pieces. And by the way, even in the Rider-Waite Tarot, the heart is just pierced. It's not broken, right? It's about focus. That's the name of this card. Focus, literally written at the bottom of the card. Focus, right? Those Three of Swords converging into the heart of the matter. I always felt like, why call that heartbreak? That would be Cups, element of water emotion. But that's me. Every reader's going to find their own art, their own way, and I'm down with that, right? There shouldn't be a concrete, this is what the card always means. But this is here about the joining together of minds, right? The Three of Blades, the coming together, the focusing. So that's where she's been on this. There perhaps, because 3 is also a number of communication. I'm a soul number 3. Don't be shocked. That there is that point of focus there, that there is this communication. Perhaps this divine feminine slave has been in communication or focus on the divine, getting to the heart of the matter, and there's a Sphinx in the background there, which is about a mystery. So there is definitely the mystery of the Sphinx, what walks by 4 legs by morning, 2 legs by noon, 3 legs by night. Comment in the description box below. Comment in the comments below. I know the answer. I'm a witch. Where is she now? We're coming from a place of focus. That's lovely. 4 of Cups. Sorrow. Spilt cups. Now, emotional release, but I am feeling the sorrow on this. The emptying out. The healing of the emotional body. The loving what rises. Now, this divine feminine slave is not realized yet, because it takes us, when we realize it, to realize it, that everything that we're feeling is not about the person necessarily that we're dealing with in the contract. We are being triggered, which means there is stuff in the emotional body way before we met this person in this lifetime, and maybe it is from another lifetime, who the hell knows, doesn't matter. My job is to love what rises and to allow the emotions to have their full emotional arc without me acting on them. And what I mean by acting on them, I mean keying someone's car if it's rage, taking revenge, destroying someone's reputation, hurting oneself, let alone somebody else, burning down the house, whatever it is, drugs, alcohol, to whatever the avoidance behavior is, or the medication process, which we all have our means and ways through things. But when it's this card of sorrow, this is what I've learned, particularly letting go of this last twin flame. Oh, I loved him with all my heart and soul. Don't get me wrong, just because it's twin flame doesn't mean you don't love them. But after I ended it, I fucking had to, for my own sanity. Don't lie to an empath. It's the worst thing you could do, because we know something's up. I learned that the grief and sorrow that I was feeling was the depth of my love, and my love for him was real, was true, but it's okay that his wasn't, because he just wasn't scheduled to be. Although there is this rumor going around that there is a variety of twin flame that morphs into a soulmate contract later. We'll see. Skeptical Virgo purple-haired witch from New York, right? So moving from that 3 of Blades to the 4 of Cups, my divine feminine slave, if you're the one watching this, I get it. Surrender your will to the divine and say, if I need to cry every day for the rest of my life to do this, then fine, but just help me do it well. Help me do it in a healthy way, that it may serve and bless all of humanity. It might not be what's being asked of you. Because 4 of Cups, yes, can be about sorrow. It does say that on the card, but it can be emotional release by water any sort of different ways, right? Moving then into the 5, which is a totally different, changeable number. 4 of Cups usually have to do with that welling up, right? Spilt cups, always with that 1 cup behind, right? That's still standing, better than it ever did. Feeling like looking like a true survivor. Feeling like a little kid, Elton John. And what are we moving into? Well, my divine feminine, you've got the 3 of Blades, you've got the 4 of Cups, and you've got the 5 of Blades, the Hurricane. Now, don't freak. The Hurricane, all the 5s, people don't like the 5s. Their numbers have changed, as I said. But this is about a storm of thought. A hurricane of thought. If one breath is a thought, what's a hurricane? A lot of thought and a lot of thinking, and can very much be, the well-meaning advice of toxic people, or the toxic well-beingness, right? Or the people who love us and care about us, and they tell us their stories. Just adding to it, well, you know what you should do? No, but you're going to fucking tell me anyway, right? Just making your head spin even more and more and more and more. Now, like I said, I've been reading this deck for a very, very long time. So the question that always comes to me that I ask my clients is, I say, where is the safest place to be in a hurricane? And they'll give you, you know, the standard, like, emergency things, like, oh, in a doorway, in a bathtub, in the storm cellar, in the basement, anti-M, anti-M. I'm like, well, yeah, but the safest place to be is in the eye, right? In the eye of the hurricane. It's the still point. Now, how do you get to the still point? You surrender your will to the divine. You say, okay, and you can have a sense of humor about it. You can say, all right, I cried my eyes out. There's all these thoughts. There's all these pieces of the puzzle swirling around me right now. Remember, this is a timed reading. This is not forever and ever and ever more. It's past, present, future. And you can prepare yourself for a hurricane. That's why any reading you get, whatever is put in the future position, keep in mind mutable, changeable. It's like GPS. It's like a weather report. Just because it's raining doesn't mean you can't bring a fucking umbrella, right? Doesn't mean you can't protect yourself in some way. And if your protection really as a slave archetype is to find balance through surrender to the divine and say, then if I must walk through the hurricane, thy will be done. But help me make the sanest, wisest, healthiest choices that I can. Give me what I need, because that's the T. The divine is setting all of this up so that you transform. And since twin flames are transformative, my darling divine feminine, it looks like that's what you're going through. But don't worry. Now we're going to look at this divine masculine liberator to see what he's going through now. Oh, I remember. Oh, let's see. Let's see if this is worthy. What's the divine masculine? Where he been? Interesting. The Ace of Swords. Now, what I find interesting about this is the goddess Athena. And the goddess Athena is one of my goddesses. She sits in the throne of Aquarius for me, shares it with Heracles, another Aquarian figure in his way. But one of the dominant archetypes in that throne is the liberator for me. So the can very much feel like this divine masculine liberator was dealing with or looked at in the past this slave archetype and felt that, let me help you, right? Ace of Blades, thought. It's like, beginning of a whole new thought, a whole new process. So as much as, you know, you want to see this liberator in the shadow right off the bat, imposing your tyranny over those you claim to liberate, might not have been that way, might not be that way, doesn't feel like it started that way. It really felt like that, that compassion, right? That wanting to liberate someone out of, and interesting with the amount of air going on over here. We got a lot of that. We start this off with air. Let me get the next card down. Where is he now? Eight of Cups, walking away. Neither one of them are really enjoying this emotionally so much, considering he's got the Four of Cups, she's got the Four of Cups, he's got the Eight of Cups. This is Psyche going into the underworld to retrieve some beauty cream from Persephone for the goddess Aphrodite, so that her future mother-in-law will like her. Are they married at this point? Yes, they are already married. Her mother-in-law will be kind to her and help her make up with Eros by bringing her makeup from Persephone. Go figure. It's a tricky family, the Olympians. I love them. They're all mine, and I'm all theirs. So that Eight of Cups, that walking down into the underworld, right, on some kind of quest, some sort of internal thing, that perhaps this liberator, yes, might have started with that, let me see if I can, let's free ourselves from this, but is now doing more of the emotional journey themselves. So, divine feminine slave, if this one has disappeared, that's where they've gone. They're going into self, most likely. Now, you might say, no way in hell. But if this person really has the liberator archetype, it's so important that they take the time and that you give them the time to liberate themselves from their own chains of pain. Hardest thing in the world to do while you're doing it. Can't you hurry up and heal at the speed I'm healing? No. Well. What's coming up? Where he's headed, Five of Pentacles, and we know this card. Five of Pentacles is really the Tower card of the Minor Arcana. This is a walking away. This is a physical change here, a suffering, right? Usually seen as a suffering, that physical earthquakey change that in a second things sort of are shaken up and can completely miss out on shit. Now, it's interesting. They're drawing my attention to the moon in the night sky, which is a waxing moon. So again, still somewhat, well, halfway through the journey, right, of the suit of pentacles from ace to 10. But there's a feeling here, particularly being preceded by this Eight of Cups walking away, going into the self, that then there is a real, like, that there's a necessary physical change that has to happen here that does feel like a walking away. Now, as I said earlier, and this is for both the divine feminine as well, the divine masculine, the way you fulfill or complete, I don't know if complete's the right word, I think fulfill a twin flame contract is to survive it. If this is a family thing, hard to get away from family, but not impossible. Because it does feel like this divine masculine liberator is liberating themselves from this contract with the Eight of Cups and the Five of Pentacles. In a timeline, I think any reader would come up with that. But it does feel like this is a big setup for the divine feminine slave to really surrender to the divine and live through, oh, well, they both have fives. She ends with the Five of Blades, the Five of Wands. He ends with the Five of Pentacles. So there's definitely a change here, a change of thought, here a change of physical form in terms of even action. So I'm wondering if the Five of Blades, that mental change, was the gift of the liberator, but then time to move on. You learn what you had to learn, you heal what you had to heal, and now move on. Is it done? They end with fives. I don't know. But that's okay. We're not done. We still have 2 more cards left. We're going to pull one. Whispers of Love from the higher selves of all involved, which means the higher self of the slave archetype divine feminine and the higher self of the divine masculine liberator. Sorry, I switched those around how I said them, but you know what I mean. So nice deep breath. Let's get the larger message here from the higher selves of all involved. 5th dimensional and above. Nice deep breath. Still point. Oh, the higher selves of all involved. There you are. Oh, a bunch of y'all. Please, 2 cards. No, sorry, 1 card in clarity. Wrong spread. I do that for soulmates. Please. Higher selves of all involved. 1 card for this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign twin flame contract for January, February 2020, though timeless. What is the whisper of love? What is it that they need to know? What is something that, regardless of what happens with this contract, that they can take with them as an insight, as a piece of guidance and grace from both higher selves of the people involved? True love. This love is a once-in-a-lifetime love. Okay. Purely from a divinatory point of view, this could indicate that this twin flame contract might evolve into a soulmate. Don't quote me on that. Like I said, it's rare. From what I understand, it's rare. Because you do need so many twin flame contracts to make you the mate of your own soul. In other words, you learn how to love yourself. You learn how to be a mate to the child of your heart. All the healing stuff. Not that you need to be 100% healed before you meet your soulmates. You have soulmates in your life. Remember I said my father was a twin flame? My mother is my soulmate. She's still alive. We talk pretty much every day. Even though we live so far away from each other, I love her and we help each other heal. Even just texting each other funny shit back and forth. One of our favorite things is the TV show What We Do in the Shadows. We text each other back and forth laughing hysterically the whole time, right? We help each other heal. But she was married to my father, right? So she knows we need our twin flames and our soulmates. But the other thing here is that there is an opportunity, this is coming in loud and clear, for one of y'all, I don't know if it's the divine feminine, the divine masculine, hopefully for both of you, that you're both on your way, that this relationship is necessary on the path of true love. That yes, this is a once-in-a-lifetime love. This might be the last twin flame you need to go through before really manifesting true love within you. And I could see that happening for a slave archetype and or a liberator archetype, because we are true love. And saying that this relationship is a once-in-a-lifetime thing then this needed to go down the way that it did. Don't judge it. Don't judge it too much. Don't be too harsh on whatever's going on. If it could have gone any other way, it would have gone another way. This is a mystical thing, and soul contracts are mystical. If you knew what they were, if you knew what they were, you'd probably do everything you could to get out of them, but you didn't agree to them before being in this body. You did it from a higher self point of view, that there's something true lovey about this. What if the next person that you meet is your true love, if all of this is romantic? Even if this isn't romantic, the contract that's on the table, what if you learning what you have to learn, healing what you have to heal, loving what you need to love within yourself? It's like, okay, you did that. Now, here's your true lover. Right? Yikes. Yeah, it's something to think about. And again, reading the collective. That's why I do private readings for people. I'm really easy to book. You connect with me on social media, email, whatever, and then you get on Facebook, even if just for a day. We could do Facebook or Skype reading, video call, easy peasy, eggs and cheesy. And you know what? I have a landline, too. I could actually talk to you on a landline. And this is the work I do with people. So let's get down to our last card here. I have a feeling the Twin Flames are going to be long this time. We're going to take one of the Healing Mantra deck cards by KAHN to give you a mantra to work with to help you heal yourself, right? Because what's the Twin Flame bottom line? You teach each other how to love yourselves, heal yourselves, boundaries, all that stuff. So let's ask the masters who gave us the cards of defense and openness, which you could not ask for more complementary opposites, a problem and some luck. So let's find out what your healing mantra is. One side of the card is the name of the mantra, so I can look it up in the bookie book, which is good. It's only a paragraph. The other side of the card is the mantra itself, where the more you repeat them, the more you work the mantras, the faster you're going to be connecting with the soul that agreed to the contract within you. The personality can bring through the soul that does the actual healing. Nice deep breath. Still point. My masters. That was nice. Please, one card. What is the best healing mantra for this divine feminine slave and this divine masculine liberator? So synchronistic, those two. What is the best healing mantra for them? The healing mantra that would be the most truly helpful for this Aries collective sun, moon, rising, Venus sign, twin flame contract for January, February 2020, though timeless, please. Just one card. What is the best healing mantra for them? Put it in my fingers. There we go. Thank you. The name of your mantra. I can't fucking believe it. Unraveling Codependency. Fucking way. Unraveling Codependency. Only I have to feel good about my choices. Ooh, burn. Oh, look, I gave you a little Emma Stone there. Easy A is still one of my favorite movies. Non-witch movie, but... Oh, rats. Only I have to feel good about my choices. That called for a sip of Wonder Coffee. Unraveling Codependence. I'm reading you this one. Holy shit. Oh, opened right to it. Breathe. Doesn't matter who you are, the liberator or the slave here. By the way, you could relate to both because it's twin flame. I should remember to say that. Here we go. Unraveling Codependency. Unraveling Codependency. Only I have to feel good about my choices. When codependency unravels, you are able to move freely in the direction of your heart's desire without needing permission from others. Slave. As codependency fades, you are able to honor the emotional reactions of others as crucial stages of their healing journey without taking responsibility for them. So you say, no, I can't do this anymore. I have to go for my own healing. They're like, if you do, I'll die. You're not responsible for what they do. That's really what that is saying. In other words, oh, I was going to follow my truth, but I can't because they say they'll kill themselves. Well, you know what? People have tried that on me and they have never fucking killed themselves. If that has happened to somebody, I'm really sorry, but you're still not responsible for what anybody else does. Now, if we're dealing with mental health issues and stuff like that, there are legal steps that can be taken, but usually that's within the family, right? If this is not a family thing, there's only so much you can do. Unraveling codependency is really getting this whole situation is happening so that I will liberate myself or surrender my will to the divine here on what to do. Okay, last little bit on here. This mantra is ideal for healing family dynamics, written right in the book, cultivating emotional freedom, and reclaiming personal power. Sounds like a twin flame to me, right? Unraveling codependency, only I have to feel good about my choices. Would you like a quickie overview? Let's do that with a magic clap. We've got the divine feminine slave archetype here in the shadow, giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices, moving into the light attribute, surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust, which makes sense with the card of balance there, finding the balance of that surrender to the divine, perhaps after really not being able to do much with the abdication of willpower. In the recent past, of course, a mental focus, the Three of Blades, often considered with heartbreak, but more a mental puzzle, a mystery here going within the divine feminine in the past, leading to, we'll say, the emotional surrender of the Four of Cups with the card of sorrow in the present moment, leading to the Five of Blades, a real change of mind, a real barrage of thought, and perhaps some overthinking, not quite at the scale as deeper into the suit of blades, the element of air, but that changing of mind, and perhaps, as we said, the toxic thoughts of the well-meaning. Moving into the Liberator archetype here, in his shadow, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints, healing, moving into the light attribute of freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. Well, and with new love as the angel there, that this can be a new love for self, maybe even a new love for the divine feminine here, which started with that Ace of Swords as a new love that right now is in the place of the Eight of Cups, having to go within, having to do his own emotional healing, and in that Five of Pentacles, perhaps even physically walking away, creating some sort of physical change here in the relationship. That sometimes that new love manifests as a new love of myself to do harm here. I love myself too much to do harm here, or I love myself too much to be caught up in someone else's hurricane, Five of Blades, while I am in the Five of Pentacles, which can be very much like an earthquake. And what are the higher selves of all involved saying here? Ironically enough, true love. This is a once-in-a-lifetime love. Perhaps the twin flame that changes it, that heals it for both of them, maybe one of them. That's going to play out differently throughout a collective. But with the Masters giving this final message of unraveling codependency, only I have to feel good about my choices. Only I have to feel good about my choices. Only I have to feel good about my choices. So there we have it, my Aries collective sun, moon, rising sign. 14 cards, but a lot packed into these cards, down to really the slave and the liberator. Just that's such a mind blow right there. And with that true love card, look, there's something mystical going on here. I would go further. Check your other signs for sure. Because might be a different twin flame, not this one, but one that will help inform. Certainly that can happen. But we've got this true love card, that there is something mystical going on here. And if you need a personal reading, please do reach out to me or someone skilled in this sort of dynamic. And by the way, do check out the description box. There's a video that I put in there from KAHN, the author of the mantra deck, called Soul Contracts, Twin Flames and Soulmates Redefined, which really spun my head around on the subject. I've actually done some videos there in the description box below, I'm sure, but I'm sure I'm going to put them in. You're the first one I'm doing this time. I haven't written the description box. I will right after this. That they're clarifying videos that I've done on the subject as well. So please educate yourself on this, whether you are the divine masculine or the divine feminine, and reach out, because with this true love card, that adds a whole variable in there of the divine, that even in divination they're never going to tell you exactly what's going to go down, like down to the decimal point, but that really does throw not a question but a mystery into an already evolving mystery, right? So may the Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need in their twin flame contracts, whether they're watching this video or not, that they may heal, that they may grow, that they may evolve and be the best that they can be, and fulfill their contracts and their roles in the divine plan for the well-being of all. And so it is. Thank you so very much, my Rams. I love you all so much. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed of the rest of January, if that's when you're watching this, or into February 2020, or timeless whenever you are watching this. And as ever, and I mean this from the core of my being, hail, farewell, and blessed be.